Just some interesting things. So, I only really began to know God, truly, at the start of COVID, around about that time. Literally get saved. And look, God doesn't want you to cry, look, but I'm crying. I was one of the most hateful people ever. And even if you think that you knew me, the things that I had in my heart and my soul, I would plan in my head to hurt people, but I'd be too scared outside. And yet people would think I'm this great person. Like, I had a couple of friends, man, and a couple of times I'd stick up for them, and they thought that I was a great friend, and that was me just getting my anger out. That was an excuse for me to be angry and hurt people and verbally attack people. Because see this love that I feel now, I don't want to shout at people. I don't want to hurt anyone. And good people are believing that that's love. Someone backing you up, hitting someone, fucking shouting at someone, that is not... If you want to live in a world where that is what love is, you're going to get that forever. But it's not going to be in this world, because this world's going to pass away. It's going to be in hell, and you're going to realise that there's no joy there. There's no friends there. There's no light there. But I'll tell you, right, that even when you believe that God's not with you, that God is with you. So I get these tattoos, right? I get these two in my arm done illegally. Well, illegally. Nothing's illegal. Can't tell me what's illegal and what's legal. I'll let my father tell you what's right and what's wrong. And I'll talk forever about it. I'll not just say this is legal because it's law, right? No, that's bullshit, man. I'll tell you what's right and what's wrong. And you don't ever... And I'll tell you one thing, right? No one is above my father. No one. You can come and fuck with me, right? You can come and fuck with me. You can come tell me I'm crap. You can come tell me I'm wrong. But you'll not ever dare speak the same way to my father. He sustains you whether you believe or not. Through grace, through his sacrifice, you are here and not in hell. And so, when I was, 16, I got this tattoo, and when I was 18 maybe, I still got it for the same person. I didn't get it from, like, a shop. I got this one. And then when I was, like, 21 or something, I got this one on my leg, and I'll go through them in a wee second. And when I got all of these tattoos, I was lost, man. I was depressed. Right, so when I had this one at 16, I wasn't depressed. I maybe had a little bit of anxiety, you know, and that's why I started drinking, because I realised that when I was drinking alcohol, it made me more confident. You know, it made me be able to talk to people more. But you know what I realise now, and it's only through the grace of God and through the knowledge of God, is that it was making me more confident to speak to the people that I really didn't, that I really wasn't, that my heart wasn't aligned with. My mind was, oh, they're drinking or smoking, you know what I mean? And that's not to say that these weren't good people, they were. I had some really, really great friends. But what was linking us together was not love, it was fear. It was bad habits. And just the way I knew I was a good person in my heart, that's not how I was outside. Just the same way as these other people weren't. And so I was drinking, smoking, partying, you know, sex, all that stuff. You know, and because I started drinking, I was in foster care, and when I was 16, I'd always said, right, as soon as I'm age enough, I'm leaving care. And ironically enough, this is what God did. God sent me a beautiful young single mother, and she was my last foster carer, and she was the best. You know what I mean? She was such a lovely woman, and it's not that she was a better person, because I've had some really great foster families, you know what I mean? And a couple of them have been, like, Catholics, and that definitely helped me, you know what I mean? Because it introduced me to God, even if I didn't understand. deeply introduced me. But the difference with this foster career was I got to go out more. But there was reasons, and look, I used to hate the fact that I didn't go out much and didn't socialise much when I was in care. And I held some horrible thoughts. And you never realise until you get older and you look back in hindsight that it was for the best. It really was. And so I just thank God for how it all happened. But me being prideful and narrow-minded, as soon as I was 16, I was like, right, I moved out, and I moved in with one of my friends, another great person. And so I started drinking, and I hadn't really drunk before that. I think once maybe at the bonfire night the year before. And so I started drinking, and I started drinking every week, and obviously my tolerance was like really low, and so I'd get really drunk and really fast, and I'd be easily triggered, and I'd get into fights and arguments all the time. And then obviously I seen a couple of my pals had tattoos, and I was like, I want to get one of those, man. You know what I mean? I don't want to wait till I'm 18. And then I realised that one of my pals at the time had a tattoo, and he got it for someone up in Glasgow, near Parkhead. This Polish guy. So, storage space ran out, cleared some space, so this video will jump when I put it together. So the Polish guy in Parkhead, so I went up there, booked in for a tattoo. And I was actually originally going to get, Only God Can Judge Me. I just thought that was smart, and I'd seen it online and stuff like that. And then I was like, nah, I want to get something that I've kind of thought about, rather than something that someone else has got. And noticed that the intention to get this tattoo was just to look cool, and because I thought tattoos look cool, you know what I mean? I just wanted it on it, and it's hard to describe, but like if you got a tattoo, you'll know exactly that feel I'm talking about. Like if you got a tattoo when you're younger, probably more likely you'll understand what I'm talking about. You just seen it, and it was just, and that's like the apple, you know what I mean, in the Garden of Eden. We've got everything we need, the Garden of Need, but then we see something or we hear something that we like, and you know what I mean, we're like, I'll have that. That's exactly what we've done, man. And so my intention, and I didn't know God, you know what I mean, I wasn't, this is times in my life where I was completely disconnected from God. This was me 16, this was me doing my own thing, this was my, FU to the social work and the system, saying, I'm doing it myself now, I'm out, doing what I want. I was still at college and stuff like that, you know what I mean, so I was still interested in education, I was doing a college course when I was 16, probably at Anniesland. I'd just left a Clydebank course, so I didn't really enjoy that one, the sports one, but then I went to Anniesland and that was a bit better. Although I don't think I finished that. I just became quite lazy because of the travelling that I had to do to get there. But so went up and got a tattoo, and I was like, I seen it. It was a quote that I seen, and it was only, oh no, God can judge me. No, it was, wars come and go, but my soldiers stay eternal. So I thought, I'll get that, and I thought, you know what, to make it look more pretty, I'll get it in Italian. And obviously I stayed with an Italian family that were like Catholics when I was younger, and I thought, I'll get the rosary, I'll get like a wee kind of bracelet rosary around my wrist as well. And it is, honestly, it's really bad, like it's uneven, it's faded and that, of course. I can't even turn the camera, I don't think. But yeah, you can see like the links there are completely wrong. But of course it's not even a full rosary, but you can see like, at that age I didn't really care, and that probably resembles the fact that I didn't really care. And so I got it in Italian. It is Le guerre vanno e vengono, ma I miei soldati rimangono eterna. Wars come and go, but my soldiers stay eternal. And it's funny because obviously when I got that, I was making like my own meaning for it. I was like, hey, what that means to me is, you know, people will come and go in my life, but only my true friends, they'll stay around me, you know what I mean? My true friends will remain around me. And that was what I believed it was, and I truly believed it. So if I was telling people about it, that's what I said. And so yeah, that was it. And then 2 years later, I went back to the same guy, and I wanted to start a sleeve, so that's why that's still open there, because I was going to fill that bit up with other things. And this one, I literally just wanted some clouds and some doves, and like a scroll, some like kind of scroll. And then I wanted to put something on it that I'd thought about, and I was thinking, and I was in it, kind of understand me, I'm just wanting a tattoo. You know what I mean? I'm not putting as much focus on what it is. So I'm rushing through my mind like, what can I get? What can I get? And I'm like, be everything, fear nothing. So I was like, right, that sounds good, man. That sounds fucking epic. So I got that. You know what I mean? So that's what's there. And so that was me. I got it. And then when I was maybe 21, about 5 years ago or something now, still didn't know Jesus. You know, this is when I was like more depressed and I had social anxiety. So, you know, things were really getting quite bad. You know, I don't know if this was when I still had a job or this is just after I'd finished my last job and I didn't go back to work because I was social anxiety, and this is before I had medication and all that stuff, or this is before things truly went downhill though, but it was at the start of it. And this was the start of a leg piece as well, so I got like a rose. So I got like a rose, and it's the Genesis chapter 1 verse 1. In the beginning God created the heaven and the earth. The earth was without form and void, and darkness was upon the face of the deep. And that wraps all the way around. I don't even know I'm doing here, but that basically wraps all the way around there in Genesis. And it wasn't until Jesus came into my life and saved me from suicide. Note that I had nothing in the world anymore. So I didn't have anyone at that point, and I was losing all my friends, and you know, I was only seeing people to you know, drink or have a little bit of company, and you know, smoke weed and stuff like that. But anyway, it got to the point where the full thing will be covered in the testimony video. But after I was saved by Jesus, shown a vision of my death, sober, during the day, on my couch. I can't even remember if it was with my eyes closed and I seen it in my head, but it was clear as day. It was like a daydream, but I was awake, and the police were there outside my house, the flat at the time, and the ambulance were coming out with a stretcher with a body bag, like covering the whole body, like it wasn't like a sheet, just covering me. It was dead, you know what I mean? And then I heard, and this is funny because God only let me hear this, nothing else, and it was just a police officer saying, yeah, it was an overdose. And it was weird because at that time I'd been thinking, you know, if things don't get better, if there's no hope, if this, then I've got all these tablets here, but I always felt like I was a coward, you know what I mean, that I couldn't do it. And it was when that happened I realised that something was about to happen in my life where I was going to do it, and Jesus knew it. And right after that, I've been seeking like the truth, and I've been getting it in small doses, some larger doses, but it's been floating. And part of the truth has been realising that Jesus was always with me. When I got these tattoos, I realised that it wasn't to do with friends, because I'd nearly died and had no friends. So that was then void, my belief in what I'd made that out to be. My own belief, my own understanding. See how Jesus says, don't lean on your own understanding, lean on mine. My understanding was completely void, man. I couldn't say that anymore. And Jesus told me, this is a war. This whole existence is a war between light and dark, between good and evil, between me and Satan. And your tattoo is expressing that wars will come and go, but my soldiers stay eternal, which means what you're in right now will come and go, but if you're with me, you will stay forever. And then be everything, fear nothing. Jesus told me, is the complete opposite way from what I was living. I was fearing everything and being nothing. I viewed myself as nothing. I viewed myself as replaceable, disposable, will amount to nothing. Even at a time where I was so self-centred and I didn't see anything apart from myself. Inside I was dying. And Jesus was like, speaking to me. Even like the doves that symbolise love. And it's funny, man, because I'm that and want to do the right thing now, I end up finding problems and everything, and I know that Jesus has got the answer to everything. So for example, when I read like be everything, fear nothing, I'm like, does that mean fear no thing? Or does it mean fear nothing? Because if I sometimes perceive fear nothing, it means like if nothing, you fear it. Like if you say fear mailman, you're like, oh, I should fear the mailman. So if you say fear nothing, I should fear nothing. But then I'm like, what is nothing? And maybe I should fear that. But then I'm like, that's fearing something. That's me turning nothing into something and then fearing it. So this is the kind of bit, this is where my mind's at right now, man. Like dissecting every single thing, man, and saying, right, what is that at its core? Is it something? Is it nothing? Fear nothing? Should I fear nothing? Because then I think I should be fearing God. So when it says be everything, fear nothing, is that a trick? You know, because I'm like, well, it should be everything, fear God. But, and then of course, the Genesis chapter 1, verse 1. It's beautiful, and this is another thing, I'm not going to get any more tattoos. Unless it was something that I knew Jesus was like, you get this tattoo, but I don't believe that that's what will happen. Because the way I see it is, I've rejected my own body, you know, and I've tried to make it more pretty, I've tried to make it more acceptable to me. For whatever reason, I can justify it in whatever way I want. You know what I mean? But it's me saying that, me doing something to alter my body, that's me saying that my body's not good enough the way it is. That's me not understanding that Jesus is in me, in this body. And that's what makes it valuable. So of course, like I was always wanting to get these tattoos like redone, because they're really faded, because obviously like the ink would have been cheap, and to be honest I thought they would deteriorate worse, but I was going to get them touched up and then get that, my leg piece, you know, turned into something bigger. But now that's far gone from my mind, and I don't, like, I was going to say I wish I could get them removed, but I don't wish, because I don't want to change anything for the past. Why? When it led me here, you know. Plus, if I wish in the past, I've got the same power right now to change the future that I wish that I could change the past. So like, there's a photo on my Instagram where I put like it's a past, present, future, and I put a wee bit in the bio like that kind of describes what I'm talking about like what people perceive to be time travel. You know, and like you can time travel whenever you want. You just need to change your perception on what time travel is. But yeah, I just wanted to say that even when you believe that God's not with you, even them times where you felt alone, that you felt like there's no possible way that anyone could know how you feel, God does. God's always with you. God's why you're alive. If you've been depressed and you feel like a coward because you can't kill yourself, come talk to me, man. I've been there and I felt like that. It's horrible. I could have been in, right, a cage, like a small tiny cage, and not felt as trapped in that cage as I did in my own mind. That's what depression does to you. And the world always wants an answer to something, so they're like, it's this It's that, do this, do that, and that just makes it worse, man, because you really don't want to be around anyone because of how it feels, but then you do want to be, you want company, but you know that it's not really company because you're not giving anything. You're not really being you. People being them, and you know that you affect people, you know that you're affecting other people's moods. Because someone that's, upbeat, they don't want to be around someone that's depressed. I don't give a fuck what they say. Like, I'd rather someone just be honest and admit, it's no nice being around a depressed person. Like, I could feel it, you know what I mean? I could see it, I could see things that really used to drive me crazy, man. Like, looks off people, you know what I mean? And I'm the depressed one, I just wish that they could speak up, you know what I mean? You're the one that's apparently living life, speak up. Don't fucking sit and, you know what I mean, whisper and talk and having anxiety on top of that. Like, oh wow. And Jesus, man, he lifted it like that. Like it was nothing. And when you're with Jesus, it is nothing. But when you're not with Jesus, it can be everything. But yeah. Well, till the next one, which will probably be in a couple of seconds. I'll make another one.